This is interesting. I haven't done this before. So, yay, we're on. Beautiful. Okay, so we are officially live. I just wanted to welcome you all to this new Facebook series that I'm doing of empowering women that are empowering women, or empowered women that are empowering women. I love it. I feel like the more we team up together and share our light and share our message and give each other an opportunity to do that, the more that we can get more people empowered, and seeing that it isn't always about a competition ever. Like, especially, between you and me is like, no, that's not a thing. We are on the same team. And if more people can see that we're all on the same team, the more we can create that change. So welcome, Miss Emily Peterson. I want to give you a chance to give your a little bit of background on yourself. But before I do that, I actually wanted to share your bio with everybody, because you kind of are, you guys are in for a treat with Miss Emily, because she is a master energy healer and certified neuro life coach. She uses her unique gifts and abilities to help busy women, access their inner guidance, confidence, and power within to transform their life from the inside out, to finally conquer overwhelm and anxiety, which comes when life feels out of control and focus is set on external results only. And so I'll kind of hand it over to you and share a little bit more about your background. You've been a hairstylist for how many years? And right before you hopped on, you were totally sharing about something. So I'll let you kind of plug that too. So yeah, go for it.
Okay. Thank you, Sabrina. Yeah, so I have been doing hair for 19 years. And in that industry, I really love like the instant results that women would get. I love seeing them like transform and just have this beautiful makeover. And then I noticed that there were times when people would just come to me and say, "Oh, can you just come and live with me and do my hair and makeup? Because I want to look beautiful every day, feel good every day." They just wanted that confidence. And they thought by me, doing that makeover would bring them that confidence. It would help them. And so I actually decided I wanted to also transform. And so I dug deeper. I learned energy therapy and I became a master energy healer. And then I got into life coaching as a neuro life coach. I'm connected with this amazing woman who I met at an energy healers conference. And so it was really, really cool to just know how all of these things integrate. And, I saw that the transformation needed to start from the inside. Like that's how it needed to start for me too. That I was, only feeling good about myself when I was fully ready. And I was noticing the same thing with women. All these amazing women around me who were strong, powerful, beautiful women would not, want to be in public without being ready and all these things. And I grew up that way too. And so, I just wanted to help more women gain that confidence from the inside out, have that inner makeover where, we work on the mind, the energy, the emotions, all the things that show up. And then we match the outer beauty to that inner beauty instead of like feeling good on the outside and matching what we want to feel on the inside because we look good on the outside. It's the opposite. And it's been transformational. It's been incredible. And yeah, anything else?
I love that you are working from the inside out, and you also value the outside, because there is a layer that our outside appearance is a direct reflection of what's going on the inside. The more we take care of ourselves internally, the external literally glows. That's why some people, when you're around them, you're like, wow, they like actually glow. Right. And so you basically help women glow.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love what you're doing. So tell me a little bit more about the neuro coaching. Like, what does that exactly mean? Because when somebody hears that, it might be like, what is that?
Yeah. Yeah, so we just dug deep into the mind, the brain, and how it works, and how, when we are so programmed to just revert back to our subconscious, which is all the things that we don't even have to think about doing. We just do them naturally. We brush our teeth, we do all these things naturally. And a lot of times we even just eat things when we are feeling a certain way, because it brings a certain feeling. It brings us comfort, or it brings us to a place of a memory or something. So what we have done is we dig in and we access the conscious brain. So the frontal lobe, and how you can actually be more conscious in the things that you do. And then by attaching that to, something that you want to do instead, it's like in this self-care world, you're then able to do the things that you really want to do. And it's going to be more conscious, instead of, okay, well, I'm feeling sad today, I'm just going to go eat a tub of ice cream.
Yeah.
You're going to say, well, I'm feeling sad, so what is causing this? And how can I help myself? But you're not going to just, shove that emotion off saying, people said to just be happy when I'm sad. It doesn't work.
No.
So you literally start to rewire the brain by associating. So here's something that I do every day. It's no brainer. And then you associate that with something that you want to implement, a new habit, a new strategy, a new something, and you put them together. So like when people actually put an affirmation on the mirror, you're looking in the mirror every day. And so that actually is why that is such a good idea, because you're automatically implementing something that you want to do. And it's going to help you become someone better. And then you get the lasting results when you associate these things. So
I love it.
Shortcut.
I bet that's super surface even, because it feels like there's even more to it. So I love that you and I are very much so on the same path and same mission of helping people. Essentially, we're like working, rewiring the brain. Because in my life, I've had to consciously rewire the neural pathways, because unfortunately, as a survivor in my life, my brain got wired funky. Like it just did, because the trauma that happened, and I feel no guilt. And instead I'm like, I'm going to empower myself with skills. So I'm so grateful that there are people like you, and the people who have been coaches in my life, and obviously me taking my own steps, so that way we can really help people to break free. I call it the prison of the mind, break free from that prison of the mind. And so it leads us into the next thing I want to have you answer. And you kind of shared a little bit, like with the sticky notes on the mirror, but giving us 3 tips for your women, or for women that are really ready to connect with you and work with you specifically. Because I believe like there are so many coaches out there, and like you guys know I am one, but I may not be your person, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with knowing that like Miss Emily here is your person, that she knows exactly how to talk to you, what needs to be said, and her technique may be different than mine. And so, and vice versa, huh, Emily? You're like,
absolutely.
I was just on your podcast. Thank you for having me on. And it's, again, it goes back to, we're not in competition. We are in support and empowering each other, because your people, you might have some people in your line that are like, I've got to work with Sabrina no matter what, like, because it's the same thing. So you guys, if you are loving what Emily is putting down, make sure you give us hearts and thumbs up, because that would be great. So just give us 3 quick tips of what your women can have as far as overcoming that overwhelm.
Okay, so my tip number 1 is self-care, but it's not the typical self-care, go to the spa. It could be, maybe that's your thing, and that's okay. But my self-care tips are much deeper, where, we actually listen to ourselves, put ourselves first, so that we show up as a better mother, as a better wife, as a better business partner, as a better whoever we want to be, whoever we are. We just show up better because we first take the step of loving ourselves. So self-care, being that number 1 tip, is literally going to help you learn how you take care of you. And if you take care of you in an honoring, loving, helpful way, that's how you're going to take care of everybody else. But you won't have the energy. You won't have, the overflowing bucket to share and help others with. So self-care is definitely number 1 on my list, because it used to not be. I used to put myself very last.
Really? I could never see that. That's like
Yeah.
mind blowing to me. Cause yeah, who I've known you as, you're like, I'm top priority. And I will say, like, I've always been that way. Like, I'm like, no matter what, it goes back to that, you know, when you're on a plane and the air mask, oxygen mask comes down and they say, put your mask on first before you try and help even your little kids. And some people are like, that's so whack. Why would you do that? It's because, you guys, if you do not have air to breathe yourself, you can't help anybody. It's
Yep.
just a fact.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
we must replenish our cups so that way it overfloweth enough to fill other people's as well as our children and our husbands. So anyway, keep going on to number
Yep.
two.
Exactly. I was definitely not applying that. So tip number 2 is gratitude. When we are in gratitude focus, we literally can start seeing solutions and not just the problem. So we become the solution. We become the hero. We become, instead of the victim, instead of the, whiner, complainer, and all that stuff, that just, it doesn't help anything. And I have learned through gratitude, I just want to share one quick little story, that when I was having my 4th baby, he's now almost 2, I had the intention that I would be gratitude focused, that I would let go of the fear and I would have faith and I would just allow something better, because I was so afraid of the same experience I had in the past with certain issues. Anyway, and I've had natural births and everything, and my intention was still that. So I was in the intense labor and pain of all of it. And I just remember sitting there as my midwife was pressing my pressure points to help ease the pain. And I was sitting there listening to beautiful music, and I smiled and I said, I'm so grateful for these surges of pain because I know what's happening to my body. I know what's next. And I felt so connected to a higher power. I felt connected to the baby. I felt connected to myself. And gratitude got me through it. The moment that I put my head back and wanted to give up, and I was like, oh, I can't do it anymore. It's just too much. But I didn't want to have the recovery issues that I had in the past and the tearing and everything. So as I was laying back, and my midwife reminded me, Emily, remember what you want this birth to be. And I just lifted my head and I said, I'm so grateful I can do this. And I gave it all to my higher power. And I said, it's yours. I'm done. I just want to be so grateful. And I remember I held him in and slowly pushed. It was the hardest thing I ever did, but I had the best recovery ever. It was the most beautiful experience because I focused on gratitude instead of oh, this pain is too much. It was so beautiful. I surrendered all of it. And I know that that's the only way it happened. And it can happen for anybody in any other situation. But when we see the gratitude and we focus there, even on the things that are uncomfortable, the things that we don't like, it's as if all of a sudden we transform. We give it away, and all of a sudden he's like, okay, you gave it to me. I'm going to help you now. And it's just, yeah, that was life-changing for me. So.
Yeah. And you kind of inspire me to share a story as well. Thank you for sharing your birth story, because that is a sacred moment. So, and learning that, like, the way that you push through it is getting to that place of gratitude. Gratitude definitely is the attitude of gratitude heals. So, but yeah, I'm in a home that I'm renting, and it got put up for sale. And immediately the mind can go, oh my goodness, like, I'm so screwed, and all the things, and panic and all of that. And my brain, because I've got it pretty well trained, is like, okay, is this or something better? So either the person who's going to buy it is an investor and we get to stay here, or we get to find a new home. And I always know it's this or something better, because the divine is always supporting me, and I'm grateful for every single blessing. And there's that saying that's like, it's either a lesson or a blessing. And I'm like, either way, a lesson is a blessing. So it's all a blessing. Yeah. Anyway, Kay, share your tip number 3.
Okay. And something I actually didn't share real quick about that story at the end, I had the most amazing recovery. I had no issues. I had no pain. I recovered and healed so quickly. It was the most beautiful connecting moment with that baby, because I was not focused on the pain. So there's how, that ended up. So tip number 3 is taking a break. Taking a break when you need one. Stop going. I use this analogy. Actually, my daughter's favorite story is when I was a waitress and and I'm carrying the tray of drinks and I go to the table with the birthday girl and all of them fall. All of the drinks fall on the birthday girl and she's drenched in soda. And I was so embarrassing. And when I think back on that analogy, I think, you know what? Sometimes we hold too much on our tray. We have too much on our plate. We don't take a break, or we want to do it all at once because it's quicker, it's easier. And we don't realize that if we just took a few at a time and did back and forth, that probably could have been avoided. If we take a break in the moment that we're feeling all of the panic, all of the anxiety, all of that overwhelming feeling, that when we're trying too hard to be everything for everyone and do everything. So I just say, go to the bathroom. The place where no one really bugs you. Sometimes little fingers go under, but you turn the vent on and no one bugs you. You're not going to the bathroom. You're just going there to breathe, to take a break, and to be centered again with yourself and your higher power. So taking that break, it is so essential. Whatever moment you are in, if you're in that thick of things where you feel like you're in the tornado and it's swirling around you and you just have no control, find a place to breathe.
Yes.
And I do what's called this Foursquare breathing, where you breathe in, hold for 4, and breathe out. And you do that 4 times, and it's just like, sometimes I do that in the car where I'm just like, okay, kids, hold on. And Sabrina taught me to just, let it out too. I would always breathe, but even just letting it out with that sigh, it's huge. That has helped me. And my kids start doing that. They're like, Mom, you sound weird. I'm like, I don't care, do it, But it helps us.
Yes. So I have this thing that I live by. It's called value. There's value in the pause. Without the pause, there would be no music. It would just all be noise. Music is made because there is pause in sound. Sound is busy work, right? Doing work, the things that we do in life. The pause, stillness. And so if you are finding yourself, like you were saying, it's like if you're finding yourself just all over and overwhelmed, it's because you need to pause. Like nobody stays on a treadmill all day. Like you have to get off. You have to have value in the pause for sure. So I don't have the opportunity to go to the bathroom without like an entourage. Like I'm assuming it's actually weird to other people because I just have people. I don't even shut my door. Like, is that TMI? I don't know, but like I'm just like whatevs. And now they're like they don't come. Like when they were littler, they were like, "Are you gonna shut the door?" I was like, "Nah, you're just gonna be there anyway. May as well just hang out."
And then it actually keeps them away because I don't want to be part of it. So.
Yeah, but no, my kids actually, I'm like, okay, I'm actually just needing time, and I just communicate with them, and they understand. And then, and so it's really, if people are like, oh, well, I've got kids, I've got little kids. Well, yeah, so do you and me. Your youngest is almost 2.
2.
Yeah, and mine will be 2 next month. And so, yeah, it's like we create that time. So if you're finding yourself being like, oh, I've got kids, I can't do it. I'm here to tell you boldly and lovingly, that's an excuse.
And the chaos of our mind, we may have alone time, but if we're stuck in our mind with all of the thoughts, all of the pressure, all of the comparing, all of the stuff that takes place, we're judging ourselves, we're judging other people, we're judging other things. We're thinking, what else can I do? Who am I supposed to reach out to? How am I supposed to do this? This has to be done. And your mind is going crazy. So the self-care isn't just like this physical, go take a break, do these things. It's a mental and emotional time to just literally like go meditate, go like ground yourself to the earth and be away from noise and people and things. Like go.
And if you are capable of inviting your children, it is a really sacred experience to like have your kids outside doing it with you. It's so cool to watch. And then when they're not with you and you like, when I've looked out my door, I have this section that's like so beautiful in sanctuary, and seeing my 9-year-old like sitting with her legs crossed, like, because they follow our example. So is our example what we want them to grow up being, is busy, self-sacrificing women or men, or do we want them who know and are empowered to take care of themselves and still get things done. It's like, yes, that's the route that I love to take.
Yeah, I love
Stacey,
that.
so Stacy's just hopped on and said, "This is what I needed. Thank you." Mwah. Love you, Stacy.
Welcome.
Robin, and we've got some love-ins from Kristaline. She's over in the States. All of them are actually, well, Robin's over in Bulgaria right now.
Oh, I heard.
Yeah, amazing trip. So, all right. Thank you so much for those 3 tips. You guys make sure you catch the replay, hashtag replay, take notes, rewind. Some of this was like invaluable. And you're getting it for free here. So, you know, it's amazing. So, Emily, where can they find you? What have you got going in your life that they can connect with you on?
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. So I actually have a webinar coming on Thursday at 4:30 Mountain Standard Time. All you do is message me and I get you the details and all the information. So you can find me on Facebook at Emily Pete and on Instagram at Insights from Emily. I also have my podcast, and that is Becoming You Forever. Sabrina will be on our next coming episode next week, so we're excited for that. And it's just a thriving community where you can just feel like connected and like you're just learning some valuable, amazing content. So yeah, I think the best opportunity is the webinar to really understand what it is that I offer in my program, why I'm different, because we're all different. We all have different energy we lead with. We're all different in the way that we approach things and how people connect to us. And so if you're, you know, vibing with my vibe and you feel like that's the right thing, then let's get connected there. Just, you know, you can even comment below, comment confidence, and I will, you know, find you and I will message you. So you don't have to find me if, you know, sometimes the little extra work is too much.
I love that. So if you guys are wanting more of what Emily's throwing down, comment confidence. And then if you could put in your, I believe you have a Facebook event for the webinar on Thursday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that way, can you drop that in the comments after our chat?
Yeah.
And is it free? Does it cost anything for the webinar? Like what, and how long is it? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay. Yeah, so it's only $27, and that gets you into the webinar to really get this amazing access. It's like exclusive access to really learning more about my program and connecting with me, being able to ask questions at the end. It's interactive. Excuse me. And it will be about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how many questions and comments and things like that at the end. So yeah, only $27.
What's a result
and
expect to get from the webinar? What's something that?
Okay, so that's great. Thank you. So the results you can expect to get is really understanding more in depth than what we just talked about here, because I do go over some of these, but more in depth of how it actually applies to you. And by being able to ask questions, you can say, well, this is going on in my life. How do you recommend, you know, these steps to work here? And then we go on from there to be able to have a personal connection. You get to learn EFT tapping. I will teach a tutorial of tapping, how effective that is to really like release some of those emotions in the moment. Those moments when we say take a break, here's a tool you can utilize while you're taking a break. So.
Okay, I love it. Thank you so much. I'm excited because I'm like, oh my goodness, yeah, got to get more people on your webinar. I'm sure you've got loads of people coming, but yeah, I at least wanted to give you an opportunity to have exposure with my people, because you might have, somebody that's really drawn to you and needs these techniques of overcoming that overwhelm. So anyway, I love you so much and thank you for being on here. Oh, I did want to ask one thing. So as a previous client of mine, what is 1 or 2 things that were like your greatest takeaways? Like what results did you get? I would love if you'd share that.
Absolutely. So my greatest takeaways from being coached with you, Sabrina, was really like honing in on my boundaries and being able to speak up. That was a huge one. Being able to speak up and feel confident in the way that I wanted to say things and approach, whether it's in my relationships or with other people, like for business or things like that, where I finally found my voice and just went all out. It felt so good. Really understanding that, a voice that needs to be heard, and the communication skills that I learned were even more valuable to be able to speak up. So learning the best ways to utilize values and intentions and feelings and ways to just really connect was amazing for me. And then so that's a result right there. And then the powerful ability to just get one of my, whatever you call it, top clients, who the next day after, we took a break for a little while, and I was going through some stuff. I came back in the program, I finished it up strong, and the next day I signed on a client. She paid almost all the way in full that day that we connected, and then finishing paying at the end of her thing. But it was huge for me, because it wasn't even an expectation I had. It was, my intention was, okay, I'll just connect with these people because I want, this type of connection. And then it happened, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. And it just built my confidence even more than I had before. So yeah.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome. Confidence building and developing communication skills, so that way you can have more harmony and balance and peace in your life. So
cool. Yeah. And I'll do a shout out for your husband, Dustin, also, because
amazing. That was phenomenal. What we had with you. I'm so excited. So before you go there, I have a few clients coming up that they're going to be going through the same type of session that you are, the ancestral inheritance one. And I'm like, after experiencing yours, I was like, oh my goodness, like all the people getting ready to experience this. So yeah, you share.
Yeah, it was super cool. One of the biggest pieces to that like still ring in my head. She still comes back to me. I'm pretty sure I found her, but Miss Sassy Pants, I have Southern blood in me, apparently, because I have an ancestor from the South, from Georgia, some family there, and it was in the 1800s. And I just remember her saying, girl, you are high caliber. Who do you think you are? You can't reach these people. And it just still comes to me every time I think, well, these people know more than I do. How can I connect with them? She would be in my head and say, girl, you are, no one's higher than you. You're not higher than them. You just know what you got, and you got it, girl. And it helped me so much, just feel this connection and this confidence. And so I actually researched her later, did some family history, found her, and I'm pretty sure her name's Jemima, because I found the name, and I just felt drawn to that name. And to
that you were sharing your story a little bit of, because that's such a sacred moment, like you being able to connect to your ancestors. So just a quick insight, you guys, this particular ancestor actually refused to give her name in the thing. And we were like, we're gonna call her Miss Sassy Pants, and she was totally like, no, you've got to know my name. And so Emily went and did the work and found her ancestor that is from the South. And it was just, so what we're talking about doing is a quantum healing hypnosis session, and you can either do it with Dustin through his program, but I'm always on the calls for my clients, so that way I can support and have that connection and kind of insight as well to support you. But it's all about the ancestral inheritance one was connecting you to your ancestors that were either impoverished or prosperous. And so really empowering, because it activated keys and codes in your DNA and broke chains. You know how they say like chain breaker? One part of our conversation was, you're a chain breaker. Well, like literally when we say chain breaker, we're talking about your DNA chain. And that is being realigned, and all those keys and codes are being activated. So those sessions are invaluable. And I highly recommend either connecting with me for, connecting you to Dustin, or just get a hold of Dustin directly. So thank you, Emily, for plugging him, because he really is an he's like a secret weapon or something, secret, like gifted man.
Yeah. And the thing is, you feel super safe. It's one of those times where you might not have connected very much and know him very well, and you don't have to. There's an energy that he's just like, okay, here we are. And it's just this calm, safe energy that you feel like you can open up, and they even felt safe coming and connecting. And so I think that's huge too, especially when you're an energy person and you really flow and you vibe with energy, you can feel safe being in that energy with him, I feel like.
Yep.
So
Thank you for saying that. I completely agree. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but that is a layer that he does. Yeah, he adds to it. So, all right.
yeah.
You guys make sure that you catch Emily on her webinar, and then keep an eye out for the podcast. Send her some friend requests on Emily Pete, and then follow on Insights for Emily, right? Is Insights from Emily.
Insights from Emily.
So,
And insightsfromemily.org as well. But Facebook is the best.
yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Yep.
See ya.